Trump has promised to carry out the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. And before those operations begin, some migrants are already choosing to leave the country voluntarily.
Am I blowing your cover when I announce that there's going to be a big raid in Chicago on Tuesday? Or do you want people to know? Maybe they can self-deport.
There's going to be a big raid all across the country. Chicago is just one of many places.
All right, guys, breaking news. Mass deportations are real and they will be happening. I don't know why some people are so shocked by this news, as if they somehow thought Trump wasn't going to do it. It's like, no, we said we were going to do this. We campaigned openly on doing this. It's not exactly like you're talking about some secret footnote in Project 2025. No, we were public, right? We're going to do mass deportations. We had signs at the Republican National Convention saying mass deportations. Now, we were elected largely because of this promise to do mass deportations, and now we're doing what? Guess what? Mass deportations, according to tonight's reporting.
It's going to be at light speed, Sean. The moment that President Trump puts his hand on that Bible and takes the oath of office, as he has said, the occupation ends, Liberation Day begins. He will immediately sign executive orders, sealing the border shut, beginning the largest deportation operation in American history.
Right. So again, that's what we've been saying we were going to do. But the news I have to bring you tonight is that Trump's first plan to do mass deportations, the first ICE raid, has allegedly been announced already, according to the Wall Street Journal. We'll give you that story in a second. First, folks, do us a big favor. If you're enjoying the content, please make sure you hit that like button down below and you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. Okay, we are trying to hit 400,000 subs by the inauguration. We got about 2 grand left to go. Okay, so can we hit it? Hit that red button. And with that said, okay, so this article is from The Independent, but again, this is the Wall Street Journal that broke the story. Trump's first major deportation operation will hit Chicago. And apparently, guys, this is already going to be beginning on day 2 of Trump's administration. We're not making the mistake that we did, I think, the first time around, where, remember, build the wall was a core campaign promise, and we didn't really try to start building it till 2018 or 2019 because Paul Ryan was too obsessed with repealing Obamacare, which he failed to do, and the tax cuts and all of that. No, this time around, we're saying day 1, day 2, I should correct that. Day 2, it begins. The Trump administration is reported to begin its promised campaign of unprecedented mass deportations with a series of raids in Chicago. The raids will begin the day after the Republican is inaugurated, according to the Wall Street Journal. The operation will include as many as 200 ICE officers and will target scores of migrants, including those with low-level criminal histories that would have been deemed low priority by the Biden administration. If you guys don't know the background here, essentially what Biden was doing was anytime an illegal immigrant committed a crime and it was, something short, it wasn't quite like a mass murder or a terrorist attack or something like that, they would deem their deportation low priority. In other words, you basically just get to stay in the United States even though you're committing crimes, which was like, first of all, you should not be in this country illegally to begin with. But on top of that, it should be pretty common sense. I don't care if it's low level. I don't care if it's a misdemeanor. You are here illegally. It goes without saying, you get caught doing anything, you should be deported immediately. Biden was not doing that. Now we're going to be doing that. And by the way, I just want to point out that Biden policy is specifically how Lake and Riley and similar stories managed to happen, because he committed crimes before, he was arrested before, but he was deemed low priority. And then, of course, what happens, right? Yes, any illegal who commits a crime should be high priority. That goes without saying. But anyways, apparently Chicago was chosen because of its large immigration population and because of the incoming administration's public feud with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, sources told the paper. In December, incoming immigration czar Tom Homan told a group of local Republicans that the Trump administration deportation program was going to start right here in Chicago and threatened to prosecute Mayor Johnson for obviously not complying with, federal immigration law.
And we're going to start right here in Chicago, Illinois. If your Chicago mayor doesn't want to help, he can step aside. But if he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute.
Now, my only reservation or skepticism of this story is if you're going to do this immigration raid in Chicago, and apparently New York has since been added to that list of reporting, why would you announce it beforehand? Wouldn't you want to make it a surprise? Because obviously people are just going to try to run away or flee the city on the day that you're announcing it. So that's worth questioning, and maybe that's for a reason, right? Maybe either this was just leaked to the press on accident, or even better yet, they're doing it as like a diversion tactic. You know, they're saying we're going to go to Chicago and then we actually go to Phoenix or Los Angeles or somewhere like that. I honestly have no idea, but the central point and the rhetoric we are getting publicly from the Trump administration is, once again, we are absolutely serious about our campaign promise to enact mass deportations.
Am I blowing your cover when I announce that there's going to be a big raid in Chicago on Tuesday? Or do you want people to know? Maybe they can self-deport.
There's going to be a big raid all across the country. Chicago is just one of many places. We got 24 field officers across the country. On Tuesday, you're going to expect ICE. ICE is finally going to go out and do their job. We're going to take the handcuffs off ICE and let them go arrest criminal aliens. That's what's going to happen.
And by the way, on the note of migrants self-deporting, apparently they are already doing that. That is right. We got reporting today from Jorge Ventura, a good friend of mine, by the way, shout out to him, and Newsnation, that apparently down in Eagle Pass, Texas, as we speak, migrants are already starting to self-deport, right? They're already walking back home, going back across the border because they know what's coming, and they just figure, well, might as well just get out while we can and just make it easier for everyone, which I honestly have to say I thank them a lot for, because this is what we would prefer to do, right? We don't want to have to waste taxpayer resources on, you know, like, and create this whole scene where we're sending all these officers. How about voluntarily, you go back home, you're here illegally. It seems like easier for both parties involved anyway, but, you know, I'm sure with a lot of these migrants, it's going to take actual deportations instead of self-deportations. But nonetheless, apparently at least some migrants are busy doing that as we speak. Take a listen.
And before those operations begin, some migrants are already choosing to leave the country voluntarily. Newsnation's Jorge Ventura joins us live from San Antonio, Texas this morning with more on this story. Jorge, how many migrants are we actually seeing doing this, leaving voluntarily?
Right now, Marky, it's unclear, but we are starting to see a trend, and this comes as cities across the U.S. and Mexico are now bracing for President-elect's deportation operation. But his hardline messaging on those deportation efforts have some migrants panicking and some even choosing now to self-deport back to their home countries. I spoke with immigration attorney Rolando Vasquez, who tells me that some of the immigrants that he represents that entered under the Biden administration are now choosing to return home, fearing deportation under the incoming administration.
Just as recent as yesterday, they notified me that they're going to depart the country voluntarily, and understanding that, you know, the Trump administration is going to carry through on their promises.
And it's not just Trump's deportation plans that are influenced these decisions. Vasquez says it's also that Mexico is now open to accepting non-Mexican deportees. Mexico's move would impact Cuban and Venezuelan migrants the most, since those countries typically do not accept deportation flights from the U.S., but may from Mexico.
This is causing for many migrants to leave on their own, knowing that they're either going to be deported to their home country or be deported to Mexico.
So yeah, it really is a new day in America. And it's funny, we always talk about how the foreign leaders, the foreign nations respect Trump. They respect him more. And that's why they're willing to make deals that they would not with Biden, whatever. They're willing to come to the table. Well, in this case, I think we could also safely say it's not just foreign leaders. It is also foreign nationals who respect the word of Trump much more. Because you see, in some cases, these people are saying, yeah, I'm going home. I'm not dealing with this. You know, I see the writing on the wall. And that's honestly a strong unspoken positive of having someone like Tom Homan in charge of immigration and being this public mouthpiece, is because obviously you're not going to be able to deport every single illegal immigrant. However, when you have someone as quote unquote scary, you know, I understand he's not really, I actually met him before. He's a really nice guy. But, you know, someone like that who can really talk tough and bring the tough rhetoric, as you can see, it also encourages some illegals to just say, I don't want to deal with with this. I'm just going to self-deport. I'm going to go back home. Trump's deal that he made with Mexico for them to accept the deportations that we send back to them, from other countries. That's also a big deal, making it a lot easier to carry out these mass deportations. And by the way, the wins for the incoming Trump administration do not even end there, because according to ABC News tonight, a federal court ruled that DACA, okay, so if you remember, this is the Obama era act that created the Dreamer status, right? Essentially gave amnesty to a lot of young illegal immigrants, and by proxy, also sort of forced us to keep their parents and families in the United States. It was a big, kind of the biggest amnesty plan, I would say, that was enacted in the 21st century. Is illegal. DACA has been ruled illegal on the eve of the Trump administration, which is yet another domino that is falling that will make the plan for mass deportations to be a lot easier, a lot smoother. And if the courts are ruling in this direction, that could also have some implications on Trump's plan to end birthright citizenship for the children of illegal immigrants, which we've long tried to argue on this channel. We've brought you the receipts, is actually not constitutional and not protected by the 14th Amendment, but I won't even go into that. The point is this, okay? Everything is changing. January 20th is rapidly approaching, and here we come. Trump is coming. Tom Homan is coming. They're all coming. With that said, let me know your thoughts on this, guys, in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.